game number 1 in this best of 1 series, kicking us off for qualifier 3 of the Movember Eggs Cup. Yes, this is our first ever round of 16 best of 1, as we had 9 teams here in the Eggs Cup this week.
I suppose the round of 16 does feel like fibbing, doesn't it? We're popular.
It's you know, it could have been
the round
more.
of 9. It's the round of 9.
We're very appreciative. One of the things here of starting this cup this early on a Tuesday is that not everyone can play. You know, not everyone can play that early. A lot of the matches usually start a bit of an hour later. It's just on that cusp of like some teams can make it, some cannot. So the fact that we've had 9 teams come and they're quite high level teams as well really does show the dedication to people playing Heroes of the Storm, and we are very appreciative of them taking their time out here to help us win this Eggs Cup, potentially winning literally just an Egg Cup. That's the prize, but also helping us raise awareness and a little bit of funds for Movember.
The real prize is awareness for testicular cancer and men's mental health trapses.
Yeah,
that's what we're all here for, really. I mean, Heroes of the Storm is great, but we're all here to check our balls. That's a first ban on Malthael. What? I had something over the draft team.
Yeah.
No, bad trans.
So, it's an emote. I'm sure it's an emote. Can I check your balls? I'm sure there is an emote out there somewhere that's like that. Yes, Malthael banned out, and that is definitely in response to this team of Always Late. They are at the top level. We didn't swap the team sides. Okay. Whoever was in charge of lobby is making me press a button. That's fine. We can do it for this.
He knows about the button, chat. He's become too powerful.
Yeah,
he knows too much.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So Always Late are a top Div 2 team here, and I think, you know, we are going to have to see Murlocs hitting the core, pick up their boots to try and contest. But there's some star players definitely on that blue team.
Yeah, no, definitely. Lots of good players. Isness is a particularly wacky drafter. We've been enjoying him a little bit, and I think the Nexus Rumble, I feel like I've seen Isnes drafting recently. They are, of course, I think Murloc's hitting the for the Murlocs might be Div 3, but Chen G are a Div 2 team. I'm sure I've scrimmed them at some point. So they've got like caliber, they've got some pedigree here. It's not going to be a walkover by any means. The MMR's not too dissimilar, and Wookiee on that Gul'dan, I think that's a bit of a favorite of theirs, especially on Tomb. A nice Johanna answer. The early Blaze as well. Blaze is a hero of the Storm, and he is one of the heroes that is very much of the Storm and has been for a long time. So much wave clear, so much presence, so much team fight, and a bunker. But the Hogger answer is interesting. This is actually, well, for a long time, statistically, this was Hogger's worst performing map.
Really?
Because he's not like he's fine solo, but he's not as good in that like popping up in the mid lane, and he's not as good at like deep pushing the web weavers as some heroes, and he can get rotated into more by the 4-man than he can on other maps. You really want something more teamfight impactful like a Leoric, or you want something that's really aggressive at pushing in waves, which I realize now is also like a Leoric. Leoric's quite good on Tomb of the Spider. I feel like that's where I'm going with
Yeah,
this.
I mean, I love Leoric on this map as well. We probably won't be seeing him unless this is a main tank Blaze. Mata does love to play that Blaze in the off lane.
4-man Hogger?
But yeah, a lot of things here obviously banned away by Always Late because, yeah, those spicy drafts from Murlocs in the core. We've seen them do main tank Malthael before. Having a little bit of an Uther as well moment sometimes does happen. They have got Sparkman here as an additional player. But yeah, they've been pulling out
Sparks.
some interesting drafts. We've got 10k bet from Mata here on the channel. But Dwergman and Malfurin here coming out with double healer already. And that does mean that there might be a little bit of a surprise in this last pick.
What can you do? Maiev springs to mind, but looks terrible into what's been drafted so far.
Yeah.
Like, Johanna doesn't care and Brightwing polymorphs it, so I feel like we have to table Maiev.
Yeah.
Do they want the Uther? Is the Uther ban actually incredible? Because it feels a lot like Always Late have just sat down and said, look, if we play a standard game against them, we're going to win every time. Let's force them to do something with the double mage.
Double mage is not what I was expecting, but that does, you know, that's pretty good against what's been drafted here by Murlocs in the core.
Both healers did forget burst burst prevention.
Yeah, they don't have
problem now.
some level of shield. There's a soft cleanse from Malfurion, who can get rid of like the slows and the stun from Kael'thas and Jaina.
What if you picked Thrall here? What if this is main tank Thrall? I don't think it's got
all
enough
the
wave
time.
clear. What if it's main tank Thrall? It's pretty Arthas, this business. No, it's just a new rack.
Yeah, potentially adapting. There may have been a main tank throw. There may have been something in there, but suddenly feeling like Jaina and Kael'thas are going to be too much to deal with. Obviously, that is a lot of wave clear, a lot of mana, but yeah, Anub'arak is going to be able to live through a lot of the damage here. It's going to be able to Gul'dan to try and retaliate from Murloc hitting the core. This is a hard one to predict. It's a very unusual draft on both sides. However, Luca, there are predictions available for you and the Twitch chat to take part in. Yes, here on to the Spider Queen, we have game number 1 of our Eggs Cup qualifier 3 here, and in the blue it is Murlocs hitting the core with Sparkman on that Gul'dan, Isnes on the Anub'arak, Dwergman on Stukov, Matabiem on Blaze, and Wookie playing Malfurion.
And the red team, Johanna is on. Nope. Elite Sparkle is on Johanna. Guano on that Brightwing. Welcorn is your Hogger. Acropolis is your Jaina. And Nero is playing Kael'thas. Best of 1 to go into the round of 8 and secure a point from this qualification phase. Always late versus Murloc hitting the core chance.
So here's a neat thing that the YouTube people don't ever get to see what we talk about between the draft and the game starting and any pauses. So if we do any of that, have any of that tonight, just know that you Twitch chat are very special and no one else will ever see it. As we have a big stun coming in here from Anub'arak and Blaze, but Guano is able to heal up Elite Sparkle.
Speaking of special trans, an especially good block there from Welcorn on the Hogger meant the Blaze stun could not lock Johanna down in that silence. And if they ever do want to take down the tank, they're going to need so much lockdown to get full value from the Stukov level 1. Low blow, of course, dealing 100% more damage to enemies that are below 50% health. Does turn Stukov into a bit of a machine if he gets a little bit lower, but already it is Gul'dan going down first, left alone in a lane, and that's a bit of a rotational error that is disappointing to see.
It's really disappointing, Luca, because genuinely a call for help to either of the healers there could have kept them alive. It just felt like they didn't communicate that well with their team, and that could have definitely been prevented. Equally, Holger here going down in the bot lane is a great sign of communication from the blue team. So maybe that's a wake-up call, sniffing the smelling salts to really get them in this game in the Eggs Cup.
Yeah, nice rotation down from Isnes on that. Anub'arak is going to pick up the Hogger, a strong engage, and Blaze, of course, does do a lot of damage. It also means the Hogger wasn't up to just do the hard camp for his team. Fortunately, Jaina and Kael'thas have some splash damage between them, so we are going to see them get that mid pressure to answer the bottom camp picked up by the blue team. So far, things looking relatively even, but it's going to be interesting to see what the red team can get out of this camp chance.
Yeah, so we do have a level 4 advantage for them. They have picked this up nice and early as well. So they are pushing down the mid lane, trying to do something. Now, I've constantly talked about how getting mid camp can sometimes mean you get your tank paid in. But this early, that tank's not really got too many gems. They've only got 18. And right now, Anub'arak scouted them out, found them. It was just about getting a bit of soak and trying to get that rotational advantage cemented. As with double mage, they really don't need to work too hard to get the minions cleared. But it's all about the pressure on the heroes.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see if they need the space. Who is it going to be that can control this objective? One of the big shortcomings of double support on this map is often it leaves you without a punch, and so your opponent's tank can take much more aggressive positions on their rotations. Elite Sparkle so far does feel like they're able to walk pretty much wherever they want. 24 gems on that Johanna and counting, and you can see as they're starting to get into this game the amount of wave clear they are using to take full control of this wave, and it does look like already Sparkle is going to get his 27 gems in and engage on Wookie on the Kael'thas, but it's just for space.
Yeah, I mean, this is sort of, I think, a little bit against what Murloc's hitting the core were expecting. They thought, if we have Gul'dan, we'll have the rotational advantage. We'll be able to do some good work. But there's just so much wave clear here from the side, especially with Kael'thas just being able to put living bombs on, and then Jaina can follow up with whatever ability, and it's pretty damn good. you can separate the cooldowns quite nicely to keep both mages at sort of 70% power rather than one being basically at 0, committing to a whole wave. But blue team have got themselves a bruiser camp here in the mid lane. They can try and position around, but Stukov having a little bit of trouble. Good root comes out from Wookiee. It's cleansed by Guano, but Johanna is going to take a little bit of a combo. Still, they are behind, and they are trying to claw themselves back in. They are looking to get a turn, and they're just 2 gems away, but so are the red team. Very, very close to their turn in, Luca.
Yeah, Elite Sparkle 1v3 in the top side, but against just a Gul'dan, can live for a very long time. Has unfortunately been forced away from that top wave, which will cost them XP, but coming back again to be so annoying, this Johanna. And as Brightwing joins them now, it does not look like red side are going to give a turn in up here. We're just seeing so much good play out of Always Late, taking advantage of the pressure they have in their rotations. But double support comps do often come online later in the game. I do think parity is the goal of hitting the core right now. If they can get into that late game, that is where Twilight Dreams and Stukov Silences might make the game unplayable for the red team, as the first set of Web Weavers will go over to Murloc's hitting the core. They're looking to try and crack open some forts, but more importantly, to stem the tide of this pressure.
It was a really interesting battle there we had, with both teams delaying so well. Their tanks disregarding either team because neither had pressure to put on them. So it just took so long for anyone to get any sort of zoning onto the tanks. But it's great to see blue team getting that turn and trying to do something. Aquapolis comes down here. Sparkman a little bit of trouble. Stun doesn't manage to connect to them. But Elite Sparkle puts the slow. Jaina keeping it up. And a heal from Wookiee and Wergen will keep Sparkman alive. However, Isnes has gone in. But with 65 spell armor, they are sitting pretty whenever they go in towards those mages.
Yeah, getting them for back off their business on the Anubra, because we might see an engaged camp onto Joe here, but it does not look like there's the space. Hogger, though, going down in the bot side. Mad BM really getting value out of that trade, as the 4-man in the mid lane is continuing to try and crack open these towers. But with all said and done, mid and top have been incredibly well defended by the red team, and that pick in the bot lane, the only real positive going for Murlocs in the core right now. Hogger having 2 deaths to Blaze in lane means that now they've managed to get almost half of that bottom fort down.
Yeah, and this is the power of Blaze, you know, he can do well. You talked about Hogger having weaknesses here in this map, and well, we're now seeing blue team have that level 10 advantage coming very soon, trying to get their gems paid in, and equally zoning away any other opportunities. Match BM using the time they have to pay their 17. However, it will be a little bit of a wait, and red team might try and sneak some gems here, as it looks like a potential engage coming onto Jaina. Brightwing ready for a cleanse, does manage to find it, but there may just be a double kill instead, as Brightwing a little further forward, able to heal themselves with a blink heal as well at the last moment. It's a great kill here from the blue team.
Yeah, very nice kill. Jaina just not respecting the web in the slightest. Stepped up, got caught by the Anub, and with no teammates around to make space, she will fall there. Now, there is silver linings here, although she's not got it online just yet. As the game goes on, she will unlock that ice block through damaging enemy heroes that are chilled. That's going to mean that she is going to have some action to take, but Brightwing doesn't have a good answer to that silence. She can't get them out of the Stukov, and so that is maybe going to make it a little bit difficult for them. I almost would have liked to see Emerald Wind here, as it looks like that is an aggressive rotation from Isnes, but Joe's shield was not available, unfortunately, so they can't get value from it, Trans.
Yeah, red team will try and push down one of these lanes effectively while they do look to zone out. They have that Blessed Shield up in just 1 second. Maybe look to try and find something, even on a Nubrak, if they're able to get the stun. But they get on to Stukov. Just a solo stun here. A stun from Nero is just a little bit too late. Joe trying desperately to stop the retreat of Stukov, but it is not enough. Out comes a beautiful Horrify after Brightwing landed onto that Johanna. And the blue team do a phenomenal job of dissuading the red team to try any sort of push here.
Yeah, really lovely Horrify. Unfortunately, Brightwing could not be collapsed upon after it. But when everything is cleared, everyone is alive, and walls are falling. The red team are getting themselves back in this game a little bit. Sparkman does have to be careful, stepping up so aggressively, but with Joe backed, Isnes is going to try and get a counter engage. Unfortunately, the stuns are missing all over the place, Trans. Yeah. Nothing is quite connecting. The bunker is popped by Mad BM, trying to buy a little bit of time in this fight, but Johanna is back. The shield is up in 10 seconds, and the team just want to disengage at this point.
Any stun connects there, and someone goes down. But Anubrak couldn't quite find it. Blaze threaded the needle, and the blue team just have to be happy with a solid defense. They are closer to level 13, but as this game goes longer and longer, there is the aspect that the burst of both Kel'Thas and Jaina will be too much, especially onto someone like Gul'dan, who without any sort of support here does indeed go straight down. Good zoning here by the Reds.
This is the downside to the Stukov Malfurion. Without a burst support or a burst denying healer, if you do step up too far, you can get caught really far out. Now, interestingly, Gul'dan has been looking like he's been building for that Q style. I think we're going to see him pick Spell Armor on his Q up here on 13, which should heavily reduce the amount he can get taken down by the team, but the red team did make enough space here with that pick to get a turn in. They should have 13s by the time the Wave Weavers get hit and mid lane cleared up, so they should start cracking a fort here, Trans.
Yeah, Gul'dan, one of the few ranged DPSs to actually have some sort of spell armor. Obviously, Nulara equally being another one, but yeah, interesting that they're going to be able to potentially survive. No, wow, mages. I was thinking mages. Anyway, as we do have Isnes here going and gets a cocoon onto the Jane and tries to find something with it, but I think it's just going to be a good, successful attempt here from the Reds to stave off any aggression from the blue team.
Nazeebo.
All right, okay, I'm incorrect. I'm incorrect. I'm very incorrect, as we have a really good push here from the Reds.
Gul'dan has a lot of uptime on his spell armor. That's definitely true. But yeah, no, the push is going to get them top 4. It's going to get them a decent amount of mid fort. The shield, though, engage on a noob. They're going to try and take him down. The Horrify for space means the ult won't be available to the fight, but almost space too much for Wellcorn. Elite Sparkle stepped up to try and save them, went down. Now Jaina is deep, and that is going to be a very dead Acropolis. 2 kills on the back half, but the blue team have fallen for their classic blunder. The fight has happened before the top lane is cleared, and they need to get there before their keep starts falling. Isnes is being sent alone on the Anubrak, and that doesn't mean they can play for Mata BM, as the team have not rotated down with him. Hogger does catch the stun, but not before his spin is done. The shockwave is going to be enough. Blaze leaves 10 gems on the deck and is going to get traded out for quite a lot of ults, Trans.
Yeah, blue team now considering, do they want to get a turn in now? Because it will be 30 seconds before Blaze comes back. It looks like they are committing, just sort of happy to have some sort of D-push, but Blaze is going to be a long way from any minions, going to be a long way from helping out with any team fights, and the red team, knowing this, are getting a good bit of push here, clearing the wave bottom, has the Siege Giants. They should want to stall them out a little bit to try and defend this wave, but it looks like a full-man rotation here to the bots. A great Blessed Shield, not quite enough follow-up, though, from the Reds.
I think it was looking for Stukov, and it tickled his heels, but it didn't quite connect with him for the full stun, bouncing off the building instead there. It's so close there for an Elite Sparkle, as unfortunately now this does mean Isnes can step up a lot more aggressively. It looks like the blue team are very, very focused on this bottom fort, going to have to give the rest of the map up. I think I like the fact that they're trying to remove parity. Top lane and the bottom lane are both very valuable on Tomb. Top lane has the boss in it, so you want to be in the top lane and remove structures to push harder. As, Isnes getting the engage on Valkorn. The Brightwing is going to get dropped off in a safe position. That was very scary for a second there, Chance.
I liked what Holger did there. They stepped away from the roots to then make sure that they could definitely get through the channel of their spin, but Shane is not so lucky here. CC after CC. Out comes an awesome Horrify to disengage in that bot lane, almost putting Holger in harm's way. But this is a very close game here. We're seeing red team really take the grips when they need to, but blue team are absolutely slowly whittling down what the red team can do.
Yeah, they're finding really good engages on the Jaina time and again. Her Ice Block is now available, so we're going to look to see her try and get that off as soon as the Anubrak E gets anywhere near her. But it's a very short cast time, or very short channel from the Anubrak engage. It's a tough one to catch. It looks like there will be Web Weavers here again for the blue team. The red team need to try and hold on to a fort here. I think they have the camp mid, which should buy space to save one of them, but the blue team are already knocking on that top fort. And with Joe coming in on this rotation. They might look to try and get a fight for the web reasons down, but the shield misses. Oh
yeah,
no.
not
Nuke
connecting.
instantly counter-engaging. The silence is there. It's a little bit too deep. Isness having to pop that W and run. The full W in Nubrak, so valuable at surviving into this spell damage. He is being able to play with so much safety. Nero, engaged on the Kel'Thas, is just able to walk out, but the web on Jaina has spelled her defeat so many times before. Can they get her? No.
No.
She vanished.
Instantly gone, Luca, as the Nubrak goes in as well onto this Kel'Thas, closing the gap. This is the issue with double mage. Just no way to stop a Nubrak from going straight into you. Oh, it's a gorgeous Horrify connecting just on the edge of Johanna, and she does go down. It's a 4 kill. They're opening up this top lane, and I was going to ask you, Luca, before all of this action happened, boss control is just so much better here for the blue team. So prioritizing this top lane, having your heroics up after this objective, you are looking straight at that boss for a potential end as well.
Yeah, the boss control is good. Will they even need it? The blue team are marching onto the core. It's just Wellcorn alive right now. He does not want to get caught out. Jaina and Brightwing are respawning in here. They do have a shockwave. It goes down on Malfurion. The bunker is in, but Wookiee is running from it. She is going to be able to survive for now. Out comes the Welly. 5 on 5. The core has fallen to 50% chance, but a wipe here could spell disaster for either team. Wookiee goes down. Isnes is falling. It's 20% and dropping, and I think there's going to be enough. Dwergman goes down, but with the tanks still up, it's going to be the game for Murlocs hitting the core.
GG, well played. Yes.
The core they did, Trans.
They did.
The core they did.
Yeah, taking this, going up to the 1-0, winning this best of one. They're going to be going up against Watch Party. It's a formidable foe to face after that close best of one. But hitting the core, definitely. Oh, what an end. What an end. I mean, I was thinking about the boss because, you know, Jaina and Kel'Thas don't deal with the boss best. But yes,